Reload that. Reload that. Colin, how's it going? Hey, Ann. How are you both doing? J2 Box, how's it going? Wanted to make sure that's working, and that's working. Doing okay. Doing okay. I am here and I'm breathing, so that's a win. New Battlefield, how is it? You're fine? It's good to hear. Anne, are you still at your dad's? It's actually pretty good. I was disappointed with the last few. I've never played. Mr. Rogers, how's it going? Got home like 4 hours ago. Feeling good about that? Well, on to psychiatric care. What do y'all mean by that? Psychiatric care. What's up, Gabe? How are you doing? Mr. Rogers, thank you for the heart me. What am I gonna do here? I'm all right. I am all right. Telling my ex-military mate that it's like real war with respawn points also. I'll have to check it out. J2 Bucks, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate it. Let's see. Ooh. What's everyone up to tonight? Therapist can't prescribe meds, so I found an upgrade. Yeah. They can't prescribe meds. What kind of meds are you looking for? Not that like I have any. I'm just curious what you're looking to have addressed. Let's see here. I have all those things as well. Mish Pow. Well, welcome in, and welcome to the party. I see what you're doing. Well, Mr. Rogers, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Anon, how's it going? Thank you for the club cheers, J2 Box. Yeah, that is not something that is an option for me at the moment, but yeah. You don't know what to do, Gabe? You having a hard time with it? What are some of the symptoms you struggle with as a male? I think I don't know if I would. I don't know really what's gender specific or not, you know, for me. You know, it's a hard one to answer that are at least specific for men. But you know, the main things that I struggle with are focus, you know, with the ADHD, and you know, distractions obviously are a pretty big deal. For the autism, I have sensory sensitivity, which is pretty dysregulating. And what else is sort of, I get overwhelmed very easily, and selective mutism. is tough, you know, especially when I get overwhelmed. But those are kind of like the big things, at least for me. That's because I wonder how it's manifesting each gender differently. You know, I know my struggles. Oh, what are the struggles that you have? Curious as well. You know, because yeah, I mean, I'd be curious as well, but I just don't know how I would be able to like kind of know, because you know, with it may not just be gender specific too. With it being a spectrum, it would be very hard to tell if it's something just because of a particular gender, or because of just the fact that it's a spectrum, you know. I hate these mood swings, bro. Reincarnation better be real, because there's no way this is my only option. Gabe, I get it. You know, even if you, you know, consider the faith and stuff, right? That you have, you know, bodies are imperfect, right? And so, you know, that's just one of the unfortunate side effects of having an imperfect body, is things that just, you know, don't work right. But thankfully, there are scientists who have helped figure out ways to be able to cope, and people can live successful lives, you know, once they get through the treatment and the therapy and all that stuff. And so, you know, I would say just hang in there, you know, because, you know, this is definitely a difficult time for you, but it doesn't have to be forever. Yeah. Now Anne's telling me to drink some water. Shannon, how's it going? My biggest struggle is my inability to sit still and focus, and it feels pretty crippling. Yeah. You know, see, that's one of the things too that, you know, they've talked about specifically with women and girls, is that you know, the hyperactivity part, you know, being unable to sit still, you know, that you know, girls are it's especially hard to you know, detect the hyperactivity in them, because it can be internalized, and is internalized a lot, you know. And but yeah, I mean, the thing is that there's also people who just cannot hide it, right? And they can't, they truly cannot sit still, you know. So yeah, here. But yeah, so I constantly have a thread of thoughts going in my head, of judgments to myself. Yeah, you got to be really kind to yourself with this stuff, you know. It's rough, bro. I miss the old me. I hate the new me. Just be hating and thinking, oh my god, and then being down. Yeah, I mean, part of it, I think, is kind of getting used to sort of what this version of you is, right? Because it's it is something that you're seeing as being something that's kind of like newly manifesting, like that kind of stuff, right? But you know, it's still you. It's just sort of this you that's kind of changing, right? You know, and so yeah, it's I would give, you know, tell you to give yourself grace as well, you know. Yeah, sorry, I have to send myself a gift for ranking purposes. Oh, I'm so delayed. Hopefully not too delayed. May as well send myself a heart, me too. Thank you, Tim. Kind of like there's nothing that sounds fun. Yeah, I get that. Come on, 42 seconds. 42 seconds. I'll be fine. But yeah, it's you Gabe, you know, it's that, you know, the highs and the lows, right? You know, but the thing is like, Have you tried going into any lives of people who have talked about bipolar specifically? Have you engaged in any of those conversations? Because I mean that may be very enlightening for you, you know. If you have, what have you learned from them? Have you learned anything? All right. I am safe for another day within TikTok. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It is rough, Gabe. It is. You know, I think if everyone were to tell you it's easy and then you're struggling, that would definitely be cause for concern. But you know, it's expected for this to be a little rough. But knowing that there's solutions out there and that there's things that can help, and that, you know, you're just beginning this journey, means that there's only healing that can come from it. You know, there's only growth. So, you know, this kind of being just some early part and just now starting to like kind of seek professional help, you know, I feel like, you know, you're on the right track, you know, truly. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. It's good to see all of you. Top 100%. Oh. No. Let me switch back over to my account, to my primary account. And let's see here. All right, cool. Man, the TikTok app is just not on the, I don't know if they get quality control there or not. When did you get diagnosed? Last year, for ADHD and CPTSD. Dyslexia was an observation made by a dyslexia coach who informed me that the thing I was doing was dyslexia when I was asking about it and stuff. And then autism was a self-diagnosis, but confirmed with a psychiatrist, that the specific things that I was bringing up and talking about were, you know, autistic traits specifically. They were things that I thought were part of ADHD when I was kind of going through them and figuring them out. But it was mainly because it all hit me at the same time when I hit burnout. So I didn't think it was autism, but then over time it became pretty clear that it was. And so that's kind of why I sought out sort of that advice. But I do not want an official autism diagnosis, because we're in the US and all that stuff, you know, it's being weaponized politically, and I don't want to end up on a registry. Jobs, I'm doing well. How are you? I was officially diagnosed with autism 2 months ago. I had no idea. What was sort of your, what were the things that kind of led you towards getting diagnosed, or seeking a diagnosis for autism? Like, what were some of the things that you were like, wait a minute, what's this? You know, that kind of led you to it. I'm curious. Or was it just like testing that was done while testing for other things? I got therapy tomorrow and I actually have to tell her shit. Also just took a depression test. Oh yeah, you have to take those daily, right? That's good. Like I said, it's data for them to track. And yeah, be open with your therapist. Be transparent. It can only help you. Truly, it will help you. But just open up completely, you know. Weekly, but it feels weird. The depression test, I mean I have to do them like 3 times a week. Not that we're like comparing or whatever, but you know, I do. same question, same scoring, all that kind of stuff, you know. But I also see it go up and down because I remember my numbers, you know. I'm glad you're okay today. I'm feeling a little scattered, but grounding myself as best as possible. Why are you feeling scattered? What's going on? Mish Pal, thank you for the rose. Sorry if I didn't inform of that. That was in between me gifting myself. I thought it was just ADHD. It was getting hard to manage, so I got formally tested. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things for me I thought were ADHD as well, but then when I kind of followed up with some of them, it turned out that they thought when I said sound sensitivity that it meant getting distracted by sound. And when I said no, I'm talking about physical nerve pain all over my body whenever I hear unexpected sounds or very loud sounds, or you know, more than like a few sounds. And then that's when the psychiatrist was like, oh, that's autism. And so that's what kind of started me down that path. And then I started to recognize a lot more and more as I talked with people about sort of what they were going through with their autism. I could start to relate with a lot of the traits, and could see how they were in my life partially masked, if that makes sense. So like my literal thinking, it's partially masked, because I will kind of recognize right away that I'm just not getting it, and then kind of pull back, you know, and then be like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it, you know. But that'll just happen quite often, you know, and you know why being in crowds is extremely difficult, you know, stuff like that. I'm actually so shaky today. I'm sorry, Anne. So I get proper support. The autism was like a punch to the gut, the rage that followed. Why was it upsetting to you? I think by the time I got to that diagnosis, I was like, well, I mean, I already got all these other things, you know. And if anything, it was just kind of recognizing it, that it had always been there anyway, you know. Hey, Lexi. Process of figuring out my career feels stressful right now, and the end of the year is coming. I feel so pressured to get my job. Yeah, you know, just find something that you love doing that's interesting and exciting for you, because you'll need that kind of motivation to move forward, you know. How did neurodivergent get the infinite symbol? It represents the spectrum, because there's essentially an infinite number of combinations and different types of autistic people that you could meet because of just how vast the spectrum is. And it's not only just who has what, but to what level do they have that, you know. I can lie to him. My thoughts came back. Kind of glad you went live so I can be distracted. Well, I'm here for you, Anne. It was rough today. Had a panic attack. I'm sorry, Lexi. I'm really sorry. Are you able to get grounded, regulated now? Doesn't. I drank 50 milligrams of caffeine, 500 milligrams of caffeine. I didn't get the highest feeling. I don't know what to do. Well, you know, do you need the highest feeling? Hey, Jenna, how's it going? How are you? Because I mean, I know that when you get to the lows, you want to get to the highs, but then what happens when you get to the highs too quickly, right? You know, maybe it's time. Maybe you kind of like needed a break, you know. Doesn't also have to do with ADHD neurodivergent symbol. I'm not too sure. I just know that the infinity symbol is basically about the spectrum, but I mean, ADHD is part of the autism spectrum as well, you know, so there are parts of it that coincide, you know. Great. That's great to hear, Jenna. Hey, Gabe, you don't want the lows. I get that. and I mean, that's kind of like where this imbalance is, you know, that kind of comes with, you know, what you're struggling with is that you get the high highs and low lows, but you don't get that balance. And that's where the medication comes in, you know, and that's where that helps out with that. Feel bad for calling off work tomorrow, but I struggled so much today. Lexi, you got to take care of yourself, you know, and it's not going to do you any favors to just ignore your needs, you know, and to show up to work and just hurt yourself even more, you know. I do feel peace since getting diagnosed. Like things about me finally are clicking into place, and that's the way to look at it, neurodivergent chaos, because it really is just about self-awareness and understanding yourself, you know. And so being able to you know, come to terms with that and recognize that and see it as not necessarily something that changes you, but just helps you make a little bit more sense of yourself, you know, is it's a good thing. Plus, it also gives you the opportunity to give yourself some grace in that area, you know. Do you know anyone who owns a high value business? Asking gently and respectfully. I wish I owned a high value business. I would hire all of you. Juliet, how's it going? Thank you for the heart me. I just feel like a failure. Why am I here? You're here to live life and to, you know, spread goodness and to leave this place a better place than when you came to it. And I know you'll do that. These things are tough, you know, and I know that you can make it through it. Just, you know, you're not a failure though. You're just struggling. You're human, you know, and it's okay to struggle, you know. How are ADHD and autism connected? You can have ADHD and not have autism. Yeah, they're neurodivergencies. They're different neurotypes that are very similar. And so they're categorized within the same thing, but they are just simply different sets of traits. And so, yeah, while you can have one and not the other, it's pretty common to have both, because of just how similar they are. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of autistic people that have ADHD as well. So from different angles, you know. Not much longer I can handle it all. Just feels like too much. I get that. You know, are you talking specifically like just with work and how work is going and everything? I'm ADHD, burnout, and can't find a job I can stay at. Yeah, Eva, that's rough. You know, it is rough. I mean, that's kind of the thing that, you know, I'm struggling with that too. I'm currently on a leave of absence, you know, because of work being too stressful, because of burnout. It's very, very hard. Very, very hard. You know, and so again, it's finding something that you just love doing, you know. Everything feels like too much, not just work. Yeah. I work from home, but it's so overstimulating. I work from home too. It's not necessarily overstimulating, it's understimulating for me. So yeah, I mean, it's still rough, you know. There are things you can do if you are overstimulated at home, though. A lot of it's removing distractions, you know, having less things in your home office, all that kind of stuff, you know. So there's things like that you can help. I can't really figure out anything that makes me more stimulated at work, you know. I work at the zoo, probably my fault, but way too many people overstimulate. Yeah, do you get to work with animals, or like what do you do at the zoo? Yeah. Just work in the rides area. Oh, but still, I mean, get to work outdoors, right? Get a, you know, I can understand it's like a lot of people, so that can be pretty challenging, right? Um, and having to mask probably all day, can be exhausting, you know. I'll say at this point, I just want to scream until everything leaves my body. Yeah, I get that. I do. There's definitely days, and it seems like a lot of people are having that day today, of just frustration with everything, frustration with the what they have to live with. It's hard, and it's not really, visible for other people to be able to see how difficult it is, and so then people do not treat you as if you are completely exhausted, because why should you be, right? And just so many people, I felt so anxious and overwhelmed. Why should I do this? Yeah, I mean, there's possibilities, of being able to. Oh, I made myself bleed. There's possibilities that maybe you could find something that is a little less people-y, right? But then then goes back to, well, is it going to be stimulating enough? And I think when there's people there, it can be a little bit more stimulating than if you're in a room by yourself trying to get something done, Welcome back, Gabe. I'm going to be screaming for a while, though. I believe it, Anne. I believe it, Anne. Going through a lot. And it's okay. It's okay to go through this stuff. It's all growth and learning and all that. Yeah, Lexi, I get it. I mean, I feel that way quite often, because my ADHD medication doesn't work, because of the burnout. And so I feel I can't do it. That's why I had to take a leave of absence. I simply just could not do it anymore. Starting new meds tomorrow. Awesome. What meds are you starting, if you don't mind me asking? Juliet, thank you for the Go Populars. Yeah, new meds day is kind of cool. ADHD nurse, how's it going? I get excited on new meds days. It's like, all right, let's see what this thing does. Casey, how's it going? User 87254165539. Oh man, they're gone. What is that? Copy. Now I gotta go open a web browser. New window. All right, show me what you got. Prozac. Awesome. Yeah. That's great. Hopefully something that can work and help you out, Officially made it 6 days taking my meds, and it's longer than before. And awesome. Awesome. I'm proud of you. Meds are a double-edged sword for me. Yeah. There's side effects and stuff too, Yeah. Some of you should try chiropractor medicine. What do you mean? Like going to a chiropractor? It reminds me I need to make a chiropractor appointment. Lexi, have a good night. Thank you for stopping, and I hope that tomorrow is better for you. And if not, hopefully I'll be on and, we can talk about it. But you're always welcome to talk about it here, and to be here, of course. You know that. I appreciate you. Yeah. I kind of wish I would be put on Prozac, because I feel like I would benefit from the panic that it, or the it resolving or helping with panic. It's 3 days in a row that I've said I'm proud of you. Well, really only 2 days in a row for me. But yeah, 3 days for you. Maybe you should start believing it. I wasn't going originally for mental sciatica, but giving freeing a body and mind as one. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of good body-based therapies and stuff that can help with a lot of this, especially when it comes to discovering those things, you know. Because yeah, I mean, it can be you know, freeing to have a lot of the you know, being able to make the connection with mind and body, being able to tell like how things physically affect your body. That's one of the things that really helped me with the CPTSD, was being able to understand what it was actually doing to my body, you know. Mel, how's it going? But yeah. It's also funny sometimes how we're looking for solutions for one thing and they end up finding a few other things that we didn't know, but that makes sense, right? Like I wasn't going for the CPTSD diagnosis, that just came with the ADHD diagnosis. You know, and then it was like, well, of course that's there. I know my childhood. How did it change your life for the better? As in you got treatment? As in I was able to understand what these things were and how they had impacted my life. Because I always knew that I had these issues, but they were things that I tried to fix and just constantly failed at being able to fix them. And so over the years, I just had really, really poor self-esteem and self-image because I was a failure at this stuff. And so when the diagnoses came in and I started to recognize, oh, these are those types of things that I've been struggling with, like I could identify what they were, things I'd never spoken about. And I realized that these things that I had struggled with, and the reason why I had bad self-esteem and really beat myself up, was because of these things that were things I was not going to be able to solve anyway. And so rather than being a failure, I was just simply somebody who tried, you know, because I wasn't going to be able to make it. I was going to fail. It was expected that I was going to fail. And so when I realized that these things were not me, I was able to give myself a lot more grace in this. And I had to forgive myself as well for all the negative talk and everything that I had said about myself. And then from there, it was, you know, getting the confidence to move forward, you know, and the confidence to be able to take these things and grow from them. And so while I could ruminate on the past and be like, well, I you know, wish I could have been diagnosed as a kid. I probably would have been misdiagnosed because that would have happened in the 80s, you know. And so for me, it's about the life now moving forward. How can I live more authentically and live hopefully much less of a stressful life, knowing that I have these things, you know. No offense, but some people who diagnose ADHD as an adult think they know everything versus diagnosed as a child. Well, yeah, I think it's a little different. The way that I look at it is that when you're a kid and you're diagnosed with it, you kind of, you know, live with certain things, you accept certain things, you're also on medication and all that. When I hit burnout and I discovered it, I was able to see a very raw, like in your face form of the ADHD that I had. And so for me, it allowed me to understand my ADHD very, very clearly, because I could also articulate it as an adult. I could do inner work and really start to dive into how this is impacting my mind. And so I did a lot of somatic therapies and stuff to dive into it because I wanted to understand it. It was this thing that just all of a sudden just like became such a huge issue for me. And yeah, most of them don't think they know everything. They just talk about their experiences. Yeah, and that's all I'm doing is talking about my experience, with this. And I think, if I had it as a child, it's one thing, but when you have it as an adult, you go through life thinking you're one type of, you have one neurotype, right? But when you find out that it's actually different, it creates a pretty traumatic event of just trying to figure yourself out, you know, to all of a sudden come to terms with how this stuff has affected you your whole life and how you just didn't know that that's what this was. And it can be pretty intense, you know? Um, and so that's one of the things about a late diagnosis that's really hard is sort of just coming to terms with it and coming to terms with the fact of all that wasted time, you know? Um, you're doing a certain YouTuber does, wait. Yeah, I mean, some people may, but I mean, they know about their experiences, right? Just sharing about their experiences. Um, I don't think, I don't know, I've never come across anybody, at least while I've been doing these lives, who think that they know everything about ADHD. They may know a lot about themselves and have a lot of ability to look inward, and self-awareness and everything. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they know everything. Just they probably have a pretty decent idea of what happened to them, because that's what happened to me. I had a pretty decent idea of what happened. Yeah. Except moving forward in a supported way. Any tools you have found to help with flashbacks, having them when I'm doing regular things in life? One of the things that I've done, well, it really just depends on when they're triggered. For me, they're triggered during when my amygdala gets triggered. And I've been able to identify sort of the common pattern of what it feels like when my amygdala is triggered, specifically from CPTSD. So what's really helped me there was distress tolerance skills from dialectic behavioral therapy. And some of it is checking the facts, and one of the things that I'll recognize when I'm going through these episodes is that, well, I shouldn't be feeling fear right now. I'm safe. I'm in my house. But why did this feeling all of a sudden come? And then recognizing, well, I do have CPTSD. That can make me feel fear anytime. And so that fear that I'm feeling is most likely that. And so when I have that kind of an understanding with myself, it makes it a little bit easier to then kind of like take those emotions that you're getting and regulate and sit with them. And a lot of times, they're just kind of tacked on to the flashbacks that you have. And so that's why you feel them. But it really would depend on how the flashbacks manifest for you, what triggers them. Because for me, it's the physical body sensation of having piriformis, which basically triggers me from my childhood. But yeah. Also journal stuff. Journal your flashbacks, or even that. Talk to ChatGPT while you're having the flashbacks and just say, hey, just keep track of all the things that I'm saying. And then it has that data then to help you out. Triggering a lot when I'm by myself, driving, walking, cooking, etc. I can't turn my brain off. Yeah. And so that's when the distress tolerance stuff really does, help to have that, kind of memorized, because it's all the tools that you need to be able to make it through those times, had it from 22 to 36 now. Yeah, so you got a good 14 years experience, with it. Do you still get repressed memories and stuff that come back? Let's see. Self-love major, how's it going? Welcome in. ADHD Symphony, welcome in as well. And Zona Lady, hello to you. So thanks for sharing. Yeah, I do. More regret than anything. Yeah. Um, it, like I said, being able to do what I do with the trauma has been really great. Like honestly, it has been awesome to be able to regulate during a trauma episode. But having that separation of mind and body just really sucks. It really does suck, you know. It's a horrible feeling, you know. Um, Never did anything with ill intent, but that's just how life went. Intended and in line with outcome. Yep. Yep. I was the kid who was punished the most by my parents for being ADHD, for not being able to remember to do the things I was asked to do, you know, for being distracted when they're talking to me about something, you know. And so I didn't have ill intent, but I was treated like I did. So that's kind of where my trauma comes in. What therapy has helped? I have CPTSD. Talk therapy has helped for when it comes to talking about the specific trauma, the specific details, all that kind of stuff. But what really helped me as far as moving forward in regulation was dialectical behavior therapy. I learned it at an outpatient therapy program, but you can learn it online as well. It's something that's definitely good to like even work with ChatGPT if you wanted to say, all right, teach me dialectic behavioral therapy. It's a skills-based therapy. So when you approach certain situations, it's about utilizing certain types of skills to be able to help you out. And some of those skills will be either under distress tolerance, mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, and emotional regulation. So when it falls into those categories, you know, that's really where DBT helped me learn how I was going to do things moving forward. You know, never did anything. Yeah, I read that. Well, brother, thank you. You've been through it and are coming out on the other side. Much love. I appreciate that, G. Yeah. Dialectic behavior therapy. I'm gonna plug in a ChatGPT now. Yeah. So plug it in, say, and then ask, "Can you teach me?" Or, well, no, I did this the other day. I told ChatGPT as like a demonstration on live. You know, can you teach me, give me an outline for learning dialectic behavior therapy in like the proper order, and the best order for understanding everything. And then I said, you know, also include any videos, supplemental videos, worksheets, that kind of stuff that can be useful for those lessons. And then you can just have it teach it to you. You can have it read it to you, you know. But to learn about that, you know, DBT therapy, it saved my life. Not even lying. Hey Kim, how's it going? It made things so much better for me. Thank you for the Go Populars. Yeah, people who were diagnosed with ADHD as a child got it easy. I don't get CBT and DBT. I don't know if they got it easy, you know, Brett. So, I mean, thinking about the whole experience of getting diagnosed. If I was diagnosed as a kid, they probably would have diagnosed me bipolar. You know, ADHD was called hyperactivity when I was a kid, and it was a behavioral issue, meaning they were just going to try and change your behaviors to get rid of it, and that wouldn't have worked. And so there probably would have been a lot of invalidation and stuff that would have happened too. So you know, I've known lots of people who have been aware their whole life that they have ADHD, who have had a rough journey to get to that point. You know, so just like how, you know, all autistic experiences are different, you know, same thing with being diagnosed as a kid, you know. Man, you're doing that moving forward. How long you been doing it? You're gonna have to remind me, G, of what we were talking about. Can't say or support you in the same way. Jackie, I do not expect anything from you at all. And I hope everything works out well for you. I know it'll work out well for you. DBT. So I started learning DBT about almost a year ago, 11 months ago. And then when I started at an outpatient therapy program, and then I went back to the program last month. And so I've been learning about it again, but I've been talking about it here on live for a very long time, basically since I've been going live. And because it really has changed everything for me. Got me about to cry again. Don't cry, Jackie. Don't cry. Everything's gonna be okay. Things sometimes just suck, and I'm sorry that things suck right now, but it'll get better. You know, hopefully, you know, you'll get better buyers this time around, and you know, better buying agent as well. And I really do hope that I know things will work out. It's just, you know, one day at a time. But I know the stress. I know the stress. I basically had to significantly reduce the value of the home that I had, or the equity that I had, by taking out an equity loan just to pay the mortgage while it was going through the whole process. And that really sucked. That really sucked. Yeah. I feel like I got it easy. Got diagnosed at 4 with ADD, and again as an adult with ADHD and intensive, which used to be ADD. Yeah. My only issue for me is generalized anxiety disorder and depression, which I feel like are symptoms of ADHD, because there's difficulties there. You're going to get anxiety from having ADHD, and you're going to get depression because of all the struggles that you have going through with ADHD. You know, I wish you had that flash thing from Men in Black. Yeah, I get that. I think my realtor is doing everything he can to help. He even paid for gardening. That's awesome. Jackie, if you need anything from me, you need me to stop by and do something or whatever, let me know. You know, I'm don't got work. So just let me know if there's anything that you need to have done. All this next week, you know, I'll be without the kids, so you know, I will have free time in between IOP and all that other stuff. But yeah, of course, Jackie, just know you got me in your corner. Yeah, I do have a fidget in my hand. Sorry, is it making a lot of noise? It's this magnet fidget. It's 3D printed, has these little circular magnets, and so then they just kind of stick together, and then you can move them, slide them around. Yeah, I fidget. My results that I had from my official ADHD assessment, like my long-winded one, showed the hyperactivity very, 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 very high. And so I have noticed that by me moving and my hands a lot and doing all that stuff, it really does help out. Suvlaki, how's it going? My day's been okay. How about yours? Let me check something here. Dun 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 dun. Let's see. All right. How have I been since Thursday? Well, Thursday was all that was pretty much settled was alimony and child support. The rest of everything is now moved to January. So radical acceptance of the fact that that's happened, and going back to taking it one day at a time. But at least I've had a day in court, so I know what to expect, and hopefully it's a lot less anxiety inducing, you know, the next time around. I think it will be, hopefully. But yeah, still sucked. Yeah, splits 50-50. it sucks to be in a courtroom with somebody that you're married to being on the opposite end of, you know, the podiums. It sucks. Yeah. Especially hearing last name versus last name, you know. That sucks too. But yeah, just one day at a time. One day at a time. Kim, thank you for the roses. I appreciate that. What are you up to today, Kim? Yeah. But hopefully by then things will have calmed down a little bit more. Emotions wise too. You know, there's just like a few things that we don't agree on as far as like the things to divide up. One day at a time, and today will not be okay, but one day it will be. Yep. I'm holding on to that idea. You know, distracting yourself tonight. Well, you have come to the right place to get distracted. I get distracted all the time. Life partners become strangers. It's so tough. Thank you so much, G. I really appreciate that. I've never expected something like this to happen. You know? Yeah. Never planned for it. You know? So. But one day at a time. Can't really worry about tomorrow. You know, I'll worry about tomorrow. That's how you should handle these things, because otherwise I'll just ruminate on everything, you know, and worry about everything. And I don't want to live that way. I really don't. So I'll do something about it. Yeah. Probably stay on live for about 10 more minutes. I think I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. The kids were sick this weekend. My daughter's better. My son hopefully will be better in the morning. I got him to take children's chewable Mucinex, which is a miracle, but it did take a lot of come on, you know, because he has taste and texture issues. So caught me off guard as well. It hit hard, but gotta focus on daughter. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, G. I mean, it's yeah, like I said, you just don't expect it, so it kind of sucks, you know, for many reasons. But yeah, sick kiddo is always the worst. It's hard to be a parent because we can't help. Yeah, medicine is a nightmare for sensory issues, you know. And that's the thing, is that like I'm realizing more and more, like I really should talk to the kid's mom about having my son tested, because I'm pretty sure he's showing plenty of autism spectrum signs. I mean, one of them's in speech delay, you know, he's in speech therapy, and I still have a difficult time understanding him, and he's 6. You know, he only eats the same 3 foods over and over, and really protests having to eat anything else. Hey Mel. And then yeah, there's a lot of other stuff too. A lot of things that I resonate with, you know. Yeah. I went after her. Long story, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Sorry about that, G. Yeah. Kind of sucks is she's going after my mental health. In like all the filings and stuff. So it's a bit of a difficult pill to swallow, but I am also radically accepting that, have to. I think she's doing it intentionally. Well, I don't know. I can't answer that. She didn't give me a warning, and it was 2 months before when she actually submitted it to when I saw it. So, yes, yeah, speech impediment and delay doesn't always mean autism. Yeah, there's also sensory issues, texture things. He has a lot of difficulty understanding nuances. There's a lot more that's to it too. I just said that there were those things as well, in addition to all the other things that I've kind of come across that I realized, I probably should have him tested, but yeah, doesn't always, but it does sometimes. So it's a good reason to get tested, right, Brett? Gotta go put you to bed and go to sleep. Yeah, stay up late. Have a good night, Jackie. Of course. Glad to be able to be there and help out. And like I said, if you need anything to happen at the house, you let me know. Feel you, that's rough. And when you deserve better, I found out when she ran an Amex for 4,000 on an attorney. Yeah, I guess that's one way to figure it out, right? Good night, Jackie. Yeah, I was very communicative because I'm the one that petitioned. Very communicative of everything. It's been like almost 14 months since I first, said I want a divorce. And so, I was always very clear about it, but I think there was a lot of denial, Yeah, I initiated it. Yeah, I can't really go into too much. Shell, how's it going? Thank you for the heart me. Yeah, some speech problems like fast talking, more like mind all matter issue. I don't know. I mean, remember, it is a spectrum. So yeah. Thank you for the Go Popular, Shell. Yeah, it's still hard regardless. I didn't want it to be this way. It just, there was no other choice. I basically did everything that I could do. So, found out I'm always in high stress and I developed visceral fat on my liver, hypothyroid. Yeah. Do you think the high stress may have something to do with trauma, childhood trauma? I mean, because that stuff does create stress that really never goes away. Post-traumatic stress disorder, Never had thyroid tested. I don't think I've had mine tested either. Dyslexia causes me trauma. I get that. Dyslexia for me, it's a little different, but it's definitely very embarrassing for me, and makes me feel very insecure too when it happens, or it used to. Now I just don't really care as much, which is a good feeling to get at when you just don't care anymore, to get offended by it, or to be embarrassed as much, People make fun of you. People make fun of me too. Yeah, I get it. And it sucks because you have absolutely no control over it, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard. To just even have that stereotype, right? So, yeah. Too emotional too. Well, one common thing with all the things that I have up here is that they come with emotional dysregulation. you know. But I have discovered dialectical behavior therapy, which changed my life, and it teaches emotional regulation. It's a skills-based therapy, so you learn tools and stuff on how to handle things, and it makes things so much better. You know, so much better. And so, you know, look into DBT therapy. You know, what is it? I can't see the whole name. Cinnamon Girl, thank you for the heart me. How are you doing? Functional chiropractor. That's cool. Yeah. Thank you for liking the live too. Uh-oh. I am being told by TikTok to do the puzzle piece. But that also means that's been an hour. Inactivity detected. There's no inactivity. I'm doing good. How are you? I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Today was a little bit of a rough day, but I'll go to sleep early and then wake up tomorrow and start all over again, you know. And I'm probably going to be doing that soon. But I am going to be live probably in about 11 more hours. So, Sarah Bellin, how's it going? I've seen one for sciatica pain. A sciatic nerve is... I almost made a really bad pun about it being a pain in the butt, because it is for me, literally. Good night, Kim. Yeah, so I do think I'm gonna go ahead and log off to get some rest, because like I said, my kids have been sick and I haven't been sleeping as well either, because I've been up taking care of them. So hopefully I can you know, get some good sleep. But yeah, yeah, come on back, Cinnamon Girl. When go live in like 11 hours, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Should be fun. Hopefully I'll be in a much better mood. But yeah, for those of you who don't have community, feel free to join our Discord. The link's in my bio, or you can go to timadhd.com. Or even if you do have community and want to join, you're still more than welcome to join. And yeah, thank you everyone for allowing this place to be a safe space for everyone. It really means a lot to me and to the people who need the safe space. So I appreciate all your contributions towards keeping it a safe space. Besides that, thank you everyone for hanging out. Good night to all of you, Holistic Medicine, Cinnamon Girl, Souvlaki, Kim, all of you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate this time, and I will see you all in the morning. Take care. Bye.